Hello everyone, and welcome to HORRORific Chats. In this segment we talk with the independent writers and creators to learn a little more about them and discuss their journey into horror. Tonight we're joined by McCluskey, the founder of Damage Productions and the writer of horror, romantic drama, thrillers and children's books. A bit of an interesting combination, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, Carl. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad we got those technical issues sorted out. Flipping internet can be a pain in the arse at times.
Oh yeah, it's the most fantastic tool ever, and until it stops working, and then it's like,
why? Oh, yeah. It's taken me
broadband rage. Yeah,
it's taken me over a year to get to this point where I can actually stream and have conversations without this thing breaking down. Last year, started out doing these segments live once a month with my co-host Cameron, and we were just talking about movies and that. Then I got an upgrade, which I thought, oh great, this is going to be fantastic. Let's move into Windows 10 and brand new setup. And it went tits up. I mean, streams were, we were having like 2 hours long streams, 2.5 hours getting into really deep conversations. And then YouTube was like saving 20 minutes of it.
Oh,
and you're just like,
my God,
where did all that go?
But that's it with Zoom, isn't it? You only get 40 minutes or something, don't you, through the week? And then...
No, you can have 40 minutes with more than 6 guests. Now, I've only... We do this, the other segment we do is Skype, because we have it all pre-set up on the screen and stuff, and then I can share and you see everything. The reason I decided to go with Zoom was because you have to set up each individual camera, or at least this, share a link, have the window set up, and we're good to go. So that was the thought behind it. I've actually I've got rid of the stupid grey bit now. I had to reach out to other streamers because I had this stupid grey bit the first couple of episodes. It was really pissing me off because I'm...
Yeah, it's little tiny things, isn't it? Little tiny things that really...
Yeah, and I'm seeing it, and I'm like going, it doesn't matter about the chat. I'm like, I want rid of that. It doesn't belong. Why am I having to put up with this?
Get rid. Yeah. You end up smashing the screen, But it's like Wi-Fi rage or computer rage. It's like you just want to smash something.
Yeah, and I got another new...
I just upgraded my Wi-Fi, and prior to who I'm with now, literally weeks ago, oh my God, it was just... I was trying to do like Zoom calls with people and trying to do like these podcast things, and it was just... And I was pixelated. I mean, when I pixelated, I actually look better than what I do now, but it was pixelating. So it's just awful, But
no, you need a stable connection. That's half the battle, because it changes the whole tone of the conversation, especially when we've got the streaming bandwidth for this, and then I have to push the whole thing out again. And I re-upgraded again in November, and then I had to install a PCI card for the Wi-Fi, and it wouldn't work because I can't get a cable, and let's start getting engineers and drilling through walls, which would be a bit expensive.
You don't want to be doing shit like that.
No.
The
first one didn't work, and then I got this. The first one was like 30 quid, and then I got this one at 10 quid, and it works 100 times better, and I haven't looked, touch wood, haven't looked back since. But it's all a journey.
It is. Life's a journey and not a destination. There was a famous rock band that sang that one time, I think. But I use Apple stuff myself. I mean, I'm not endorsed by Apple by any chance. But, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did. But that's what I use, and I've never had any problems with it.
See, my problem is I started off in the 90s, Windows 3.11. And I've kind of stuck with Microsoft ever since. Now, one of our co-hosts, Adam, he's an Apple guy.
Why they upgraded from XP, I do not know. XP worked wonders.
XP, Service Pack 4, that was all you needed.
That was it. Done the lot, done everything. Then he started asking about with it and just,
God, Vista was
horrendous.
horrendous.
We are where we are. That's a real horror show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with all the fucking updates and this.
And that's it. And you're trying to... You don't want to invest a lot of money either. If you're starting out with something like this, you want to do it as economically as possible. And then as you build your craft, you branch out and you upgrade. And that's one of the reasons for doing this sort of shows. It might seem random things to talk about, but you don't know who's sitting in front of here thinking, fuck, I want to try this. It seems so out of my reach. And I'm all about, it's not actually, because if I can sit here and do it, and I'm a book agent, anyone can. You know what I mean? The important thing is to get started. and not give up, and you're going to get problems.
I've always wanted to do it. Wanted to set up a podcast, but I just don't have the time in the day, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'd talk about. I just end up. It'd be like a horror show, and I just end up talking about radiators and coats and stuff like that because I just ramble.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you do it in an entertaining way, and if you reach people, because that's the thing. If you have an audience, and it doesn't matter whether it's 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, if you have some people appreciate what you're doing, and as long as you're not detracting from your own life, like this, doing all this takes.
That's assuming I've got a life.
Yeah. No, but if you, as long as you're not putting like your own personal stuff to the back burner for doing this, because the amount of admin in the background's unreal. People only see this bit that lasts for an hour or so, but they forget, they don't even see all the bit stuff in behind.
Yeah.
So you got to weigh that up.
I mean, that's where I haven't got the time because I work full time. I'm a full-time father, and like I'm writing books and I'm publishing books, and I think to myself, don't saddle yourself with something else that's going to just, that's going to take just that another slice of your life out, the little tiny slice you've got left. Is you're going to eat into that. So no.
Yeah, and then it's not fun anymore. Yeah, I mean, the minute it takes over and it owns you, and you're not in control of it, then you're a slave to whatever it is, and it's no longer enjoyable. That's all the thing. It's all about balancing things up. So know where you are and what you've got. That's a fantastic way to think. Yeah. But that's it. You're talking about, you've got a real mixed bag there of creative projects. You know what I mean? You even just going by your writing alone, you cover so many genres. How do you manage to actually achieve a balance with all that? How do you manage to juggle it and keep it together?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. If you knew me, if say you knew me, you live next door, or we went to school together, something like that, you would know that I am the most unorganized person you will ever meet in your entire life. If I've got something to do that day, odds on I'm gonna forget it. Do you know what I mean? If I haven't got it on my phone, then it's gone. Do you know what I mean? I can barely go out with matching socks on. Do you know what I mean? This is the level of my if I didn't have my missus to actually put the socks in my drawer, I'd be running around looking for the socks in the morning. I'd be wearing dirty ones. So I don't know how I managed to. This is a word that I really struggle to say. Decompartmentalize. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've just had to look that up.
Yeah, you're kind of putting things into little boxes and allocating time slots to each endeavor.
But I can only do it with me writing. I can't do it with my life. My life's all over the place. My life's like I just like one. I barely know what day of the week it is half the time. But with me writing, I can take me horror books and I can move them aside from me children's books, and I can move them aside from me young adult fantasy books. And in here, I don't know, I've got that little switch going on in here, but out here.
But is that giving you a balance then, actually, in yourself? Because you're saying yourself, you have a chaotic life, you just kind of go by the cuff day by day, but you have that moment where you can channel into something else.
I do, yeah, and it does work like that. It is almost like, it's like my life's chaos. When I say my life's chaos, you know what I mean. It's not like I'm not out all the time and all over the place in public appearances, which I'd love. But it's none of that. It's just normal everyday stuff. But I don't have it in my head to organise it. We're trying to organise going on holiday, and it's like I'm lost. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Let's just pick somewhere on a map. But when it comes to the books, I get an idea for a book or an idea for my next novel or my next novella or whatever, and it sticks and it stays, and like nothing else stays. Telephone numbers, people's names, nothing sticks except me books, except me ideas for my books. So a couple of times I've been walking along, like walking the dog, like along the beach. I live in Liverpool, and I've got a nice little bit of coastline, nice little few
Cool. I need to
beaches
get back
there.
up your way sometime. I've family in
Oh, it's
Ellesmere
gorgeous.
Port.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Liverpool gets a lot of stick, but it's my favourite city of
No,
all
that's just
time.
it. I've
Really.
family that live in Ellesmere Port.
Well, yeah, well, that's only around. That's just over the other side. I used to
Yeah.
work in Ellesmere Port. Yeah. So walking the dog, and an idea will come for a book, and it'll just like it's like a light bulb moment. It just goes poof, and it's in there. And then if somebody tells me something while I'm walking the dog on the beach, I've forgotten it by the time we've got 150 yards down.
Shit.
But I can like continue that walk. I can get in the car. I can drive home. I can go to bed. I can wake up the next morning, and I can get on my notes and I can write the whole story of what I've just thought about on the beach, into a note, and it stays there. It stays in my head. But tell me anything else, I haven't got a clue. I don't know how much a pint of milk is. I don't know, and I couldn't tell you how you go about ringing the Lecky company to actually change providers. It's stuff
God,
like that.
I'm actually the opposite. I've got like proper OCD. Everything has to be organised. But when it comes to my writing, I have to get a notepad and pen and just scribble ideas madly. Because if I did it on the computer, then I get caught up in formatting and setting everything up, and I wouldn't actually write. So I have to actually exercise it the other way.
Notes. Yeah, I use the notes application in my phone and literally for notes. So there's no formatting. There's just like little chunks of text, and I could write about 1,000 words in as a almost like a first draft or a 0.5 draft or whatever like that I call it. And it's just basically the structure of the story, the start, the middle, and the end. But there's no formatting or nothing. So all that comes at the last bit.
All right, because that's what I have to do. I can't get bogged down in formatting, or else I just lose the idea. You know, it just becomes about that, and that's kind of like I take the opposite approach to you. Like my life just has to be. If I have something that goes out of the schedule, I'm like, what? Why? You know what I mean? I'm very much laid down. I've got this time. This is all organised.
Yeah. No, I am the most by the seat of your pants type person you'll ever meet in your entire life. I really, really am.
And you know, that's a cool way to be. I get jealous at times because I'm like, how can you do that? Because I'd be in the corner quivering, just
No, but sometimes I would love to be that OCD. That I would love. People say to me, "What do you use to plan your books?" You know, and then people are saying to me, "I use spreadsheets," and people are saying to me, "I use Scrivener," and I use this. And I'm thinking,
I tried that once. Somebody gave me a link to that Scrivener, and I tried and just looked and went, nah. It just actually became work.
Yeah,
you know,
to figure out how to. Yeah, no. Do you know what I use? I use my notes either on my phone or on my iPad, and then I go straight into Microsoft Word. And about 5 years ago, I downloaded a really good template, a novel template. And now I just cut. So I've got my story and I've got it all done. And I've got it all done into chapters and chapter breaks and stuff like that. And then I just end up cutting and pasting it all into this template that I've just downloaded off the internet.
Because that one Amazon gives is horrendous.
Oh
God! I ended up getting rid of that and just going. Had to go back to scratch because it just drive me absolutely nuts. Because if you deviate anything outside that, it messes up your whole chapter.
Yeah, it goes mad. It's like you'll have like massive chapter breaks and you'll have like different fonts turning up and you're like,
I didn't do this. What the hell? And trying to put in the Kindle as well, just like piss off.
I do absolutely everything. It's the only Microsoft product that I actually really, really enjoy using is Microsoft Word. And everybody says to me, everyone says, what the fucking hell are you using Word for? It's got to be the worst one. But it's what works for you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Exactly. It's if it works for me, I've done it for now 10 years. I can't.
It's the end product. Do you think people get a bit caught up too much on the how you do it, or you're not in the cool gang because we're all using this now, and actually,
that's it.
Not concentrating on the art.
Yeah, because people say to me, people do ask me. They say like, Dave, I've got a mate who's trying to write a book. Can you give him some advice? Or Dave, I'm trying myself trying to write a book. Can you give me some advice on how to do it? And I'm thinking to myself, I have no advice. So all I can say to you is JFDI is just fucking do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the book's not going to write itself. So you just got to just take the
Get
time
the idea.
and go and do it.
Get the idea, get it out there, and worry about the rest afterwards.
Well, that's what I always say. The only thing that I plan, and when I say plan, it's kind of plans itself, is I do have a start, I do have a middle, and I do have an ending when I start a project. But anything in between that start, because I know where I want to start it, I know where I want to get to, and I know how I want to end it, and everything else is build up and fluff. Build up and fluff. Go read my books, kids. They're just fluff.
No, but you know what you mean. You're wanting to get to a certain point, and the
and
story kind of
just
takes you. And sometimes it's going to take you a long time because something else comes along, and you're like, oh, shit, right, okay, I want to get there, but I can't get there yet because this has come up. And you're like,
and then the madness happens. Is then the characters start having lives of their own, and because you've given these characters personalities, they start doing things that you think, stop fucking doing that. Don't be doing that. You're ruining me book. And the character's just like that. Yeah, I'm just
fucking get back in the line, cunt.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, I'm your fucking god. You do what I tell you to do. And they're like, no.
Nah, we're going this way.
You fleshed me out now. Yeah, I'm my own person. So you have that, and then that gets in the way, and then you got to go and change stuff. But do you know what I would love? I would love to be able to. I've just written 3 books, and they're like the part 1, part 2, part 3 of a saga. It's called the Glimmer Saga. It's coming out this year. All 3 parts. Now it was the fucking most difficult thing I've ever done, because basically each part is about 75,000 words. So basically it's just a big, long, massive, long novel, but I've split it up into 3 parts in order to actually to facilitate it and make it accessible for people. But I wish I'd have used a timeline, because fucking the backwards and forwards and searching through the 175,000 words of text that you've done, just to find out if this fella's name was Robert or whether it was, or I'd called him Paul, and you're like, oh,
I'm terrible names. My current project, calling it the Iliad Reborn. It's a trilogy. Yeah, this is the first time I've started putting out timelines and actually based on a map, locations. And thinking about, okay, well, they're going to get to here. How is that reasonable? Because they're traveling. And I'm actually spending more time doing that right now. It's really frustrating because I've handwritten out like the first book and a half, first draft. But now I'm going back and I'm spending more time doing this shit, which is just drive me mental. Because because my other side of my brain's now kicking in that everything has to be in order. I'm actually writing myself out of the story because I'm actually getting to the point of family thinking they have to put in family trees, and I'm like, God, I don't want to do that. I hate names. I hate naming things.
You end up like the Hobbit, then, don't you? Like with like a load of history and like Game of Thrones almost, but like.
And I'm getting on in years. You know what I mean? I don't have 30 years. Or start going. I'm already going to see now. I'm getting more scatterbrained as the years go by. I don't have 30, 40 years to put into this. I don't have the patience.
No, to do yourself a Tales of Ice and Fire. I mean, I loved them books. I read them books.
He's a arse. He's not going to finish Winds of Winter.
He's not. He's definitely not going to, because
he's taken every project he can think of to not do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just think he can't be asked, because all the other books are like this thick, aren't they? Like they're all like 150,000 pages long. And I just think he thinks to himself, I just haven't got it in me. And I think that's why the ending of the series was a little bit weak, because he just let whoever was the series
Dave and Dan. It was around about season 5 that the wheels fell off, because that's when the books kind of stopped.
Yeah, that's when the
books season stopped, 6. Season 6 when it really started going to shit. And these two are just like, we don't know where this is going. And
we don't know what to do. Yeah, and they said, because they ran it by him, didn't he? And he said, "What do you think? Do you think this is a good end?" And he's just like, "Yeah,
do what you want.
Just give me the money. I'm not asked. I'm just an old man now."
Yeah, when I listen to him, he's an arrogant prick, though. I've listened to him in interviews, and he actually turned me off him early on.
Really?
Just his condescending tone. Which is
Really?
why I
Yeah.
do what I do, because I don't like people like that who
No.
I'm the expert. And what was it he was talking about? The Sixth Sense. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But he's like, my wife and I, we sat down and we played a game. We scribbled the ending and we knew what it was because we're superior. And it was from that moment I started paying more attention to him. I'm like,
Yeah.
you stuck up arse.
There's no fucking way on God's green earth he did that. I say, as you say, he's just trying to make himself look better there. There's no way. The Sixth Sense got everybody.
Yeah, I have no time for people like that. This is why I do what I do here. Because I want to talk to real people who actually put out something out into the world. I want to be down to earth about it because there's so many navel gazers. There's so many, like, and you probably see it in a lot of writing groups as well. You get a knife in the back writing quick. You have to. I've really whittled down to like a small handful of groups or people I interact with because I don't have the time. There's so many people want to stamp you down and they think it's some sort of intellectual exercise and not an art form.
But what annoys me, and I haven't come across it as much myself, as a few other people who have said to me, but some people feel it's like a competition. You know, you've got to be more popular than you, and I've got to be more popular than you, and it's like, and it becomes a competition. But I've never been like that. It's just, but the majority, I've just moved into like, I've started doing a couple of extreme horrors. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the extreme horror genre. I do like it. I don't mind it. You know, I'll read anything. But I've started doing like an extreme horror series. So I'm bringing out a number of books, and I've sort of joined a couple of like the Godless Horrors and Splatterpunk groups on Facebook, and they are so loyal. They are such lovely people. All of them. I haven't met one of them who is a pretentious up their own arse yet. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you want.
That's exactly.
I spend more time trying to push other people forward than myself because I've always been an enabler. That's my thing. I've always been a trainer, always helping others, and that's where I get my gratification. If I get anyone who comes on this show or features in Horrific Tales, if I can get them one book sale purely through this podcast,
and you've done your job. Yeah,
I've done my job, and I get a satisfaction from that.
I love that. I love that because I know, right? I'm fucking hell. I'm the least arrogant person you'll ever meet in your entire life because
you're a good northern bloke. You know what I mean?
I'm just amazed that I can fucking do one. You know what I mean? I can write one. So I want other people. I love to say to people, read this book. It's fucking brilliant. Now the only problem I've got with that is I'm the slowest reader in the entire world. Right? I can write a book faster than I can read a book. That's the God's honest truth. It's like if I'm reading a novella, like all these people on these review sites, they're reading 3 books a day. Do you know what I mean?
However, have you not noticed? Have you not seen the pattern? A lot of them are reading young adult horror, young adult fiction, so they're reading quick reads. They're not reading Lord of the Rings or War and Peace like 2-3 times a day. It's quick reads, quick turnover. In fact, I don't know if you saw a link I shared about trying to petition Amazon. Because some of these people, thankfully, hopefully nobody I know, because I wouldn't associate myself with somebody up the dirty tricks. But what they're doing,
sending them back.
They're reading them, they're sending them back, and then they're screwing over the author while they're putting on a persona of I want to help people out, and that pisses me off. I hate hypocrisy, and I hate people getting up the dirty tricks just to get get a few likes and views.
Do you know what pisses me off most about that? Is that my book, any of my books, they go out for like, I don't charge loads. I don't charge too less, but I don't charge loads. So the majority of my books on Kindle are £1.99 or $2.99. But what pisses me off about that is that they send the book back and get the £2 back.
Yeah.
So they've gone through all that fucking hassle to get £2 back. And all I get out of that £2 is about like, I don't know, about
30p or something. It's not even,
like that. Yeah.
It's nothing.
But they claim their £2 back. They've gone out of their way to claim that £2 back. It's fucking less than a cup of coffee. You can't get a cup of coffee anywhere for £2.
$4.20. Look at $4.20 in Costa or Starbucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just fucking. It just annoys me. But these people are really. Like, I mean, not all of them. The majority of the reviewers that I know and I interact with and I've got a good relationship with, they're so supportive. They'll buy your ebook and they'll buy your hard copy and stuff like that. So, and you know, they love the books and they love the readers and they love the writers and stuff like that. And they're absolutely fantastic. But they read like fuck. They read so fast, and it's like my reading list. It's like my reading list for 2022. I've got this is what they're saying. They're saying I've got like 1,500 books I'm going to read in 2022. And
they're not joking. They actually mean it.
It takes me like 3 months to read the novel.
But if that's your passion, like I this last year though, my brain, I don't know, I must be slowing down. I've hit that middle age point because I used to demolish books. And now I'm struggling to. I think because I'm always working on something, so I need to segment myself in the reading time. It was before I spoke to another guy, Scott. I actually took Saturday off. It was amazing. I just had music on and I had a book in my hand, and I got that demolished in a day. And I was like, it was such a rare thing to do.
Well, I write with music on. I love music filling me out. I've either got my headphones on or I've got me them Alexas or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I've got music blasting when I'm writing, and I just music's always been like a really big passion of mine. And now with writing more again, like over the last 10 years and stuff like that, I've got right back into all my music. So my music, I've got mood music and stuff like that. I just love it.
Oh, fantastic! That's and I listen to such a weird like traditionally, I'm an old metalhead, you know, still a massive Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah, but I'm going to see them in June.
Are you? The June, Legacy of the Beast tour. They're actually.
Yeah. Well, I saw them right before lockdown last year. The year before last. That was the first time I'd ever seen them. I've been a huge fan for years. The first time I'd ever seen them. Oh my god, they were absolutely superb. But we're going to download, so we've got like Kiss and Iron Maiden and. I hate them.
Utterly. They're such a bunch of grifters.
They are. They really. And you know what? But they've got away with it for so fucking long. And you've got to admire that.
People don't believe me when you can actually buy Kiss air guitar strings, a packet of Kiss air guitar strings, which is just a fucking packet with an empty bag. And people will buy that shit.
Because Gene Simmons, he's an arsehole, you know what I mean? He used to be my hero because I play bass guitar. So he used to be my biggest hero. But as the years have gone on, he's just a greedy bastard. But he also is a fantastic marketer. Oh, by the way, Gene, if you're watching this, I don't really mean it. You know what I mean? Don't sue me. But he's a fantastic marketer. Yeah. So he's known how to market that.
Oh, he's
band.
played the crowd. And most of us playing the crowd is off stage. You know what I mean? More of the Kiss persona is off stage and actually on, because when they're on stage, they're all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I Was Made for Loving You, God Gave Rock and Roll. That's about the only two songs I can remember, that I can sing along to. The rest of Kiss is just like, meh. You know, you might pop one or two.
I've always loved them.
But their antics off stage is it's kept them going. But here's the thing as well, because you actually own a production company. You're trying to find your voice out here, you know what I mean, like we all are. Yeah. And trying to get away from like the corporate entities, because they're killing everything at the moment. How important is it to have your like off-stage persona, or to project a bit of yourself out there, as opposed to, I have a nice book out, here's a great idea?
Yeah. I'm a people person. So any chance I get to talk to people, these podcasts and stuff that people do in the interviews, I absolutely love them. I love every minute of doing these podcasts, and for two reasons: because I absolutely love interaction with other people. Right. So if you're asking me questions about me, then I can talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I love that. But when I'm for all the fact that I've got all this bluster and I can talk for England, when somebody asks me about my books, or somebody says, how do you market your books? I am the worst self-marketeer you'll ever find in your entire life. I end up not talking about my own books in these podcasts, because we end up talking about all sorts of other stuff.
But that's almost as important. There's some people that are due to come on the show, or people have been talking to me, and they're like super nervous, and they have this persona or this whole scenario built up in their head about getting on a camera, and it's just a conversation, and
that's all it is.
To me, two blokes or a couple of people having a chat, just chewing the shit, getting up, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not about anything, but you get to know the person behind the paper. That's as valuable, and you don't have to be. I think people are too clinical about things now.
Well, that's it. I got a bit of advice when I was first starting off, probably about 10 years. Well, maybe a little bit less. I think I've been doing this I've been writing for about 10 years. I think I first published my first novel about 7 years ago. But a little bit of advice that I got off one of the guys who's quite big on the scene now. And he said to me, don't talk about your books all the time. He said, because you'll just piss everybody off. I said, never do you get bored of you going on about your books. He said, they want to know about you. They want to know about your dog. They want to know about your football team. They want to know about like the car that you drive, and they're interested in what you're doing. So it's finding a balance between broadcasting yourself, and broadcasting your books. So that's why I'm not loath to talk about my own books, because I can talk about them till I'm blue in the face, but I like to get a bit of me across before we talk about the books.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I don't want to be one of these formulaic people. Oh, okay, what's your book out? What was your biggest influence? Blah blah. What have you got coming out now? I don't want to do that. This is all about having a chat, and it just so happens that we're broadcasting it, and some people might watch, and some people might like it. Cool, crack on. You know what I mean? But
I love that. Because I've played in bands since I was a kid. I've always played in bands, so I've always been on stage. I've never been scared of being on stage. I've been a stand-up comedian, and
I can see that. I can see that.
I did it for about 2 years, but the travelling was just getting too much, and I just couldn't do it, because I was a single father to Grace, because her mum moved away. So my daughter sort of lived with me, so there was only me and her. So I couldn't travel to like 35 miles to do a 15-minute show, and then 35 miles back, and be there for her.
It's about balance, priorities,
so
really.
I had to knock it on the head, but I loved it. But when you're doing a stand-up comedy, when you're in a band, you've got like the people around you, so you can have a little play off with the people around you. When you do stand-up comedy, you're on your own, and you're putting yourself out there, and if people don't laugh at what you're doing,
you kind of fall. There's no escaping from it, is there?
There's no the spotlight is on you, and if you're no good, you gotta fucking do something different. You know what I mean? So I don't know whether I was no good, but I have got videos up there on YouTube that people can actually see, and I do post them from time to time of my stand-up routine. But I loved it. But as I say, I'm a talker, so being on camera and being on stage and being like, it's never bothered me.
No, that's good, because there's some. What I'm trying to do as well with this, I mean, everything's trying to have a reason behind it. If somebody's coming out and they're maybe starting out writing, or they've been writing for a while, and like you said, this whole self-promotion thing is horrible. Like, it's the worst thing to do. You don't want to be self-relating all the time. You don't want to be, look at me, because I would do my head in. I'm not that sort of person. I like having a chat like yourself. I like talking to people. I like interacting, but I hate just being that guy that always swaggers about the place. Look at me. I like to read the room first. You know what I mean? I'm a sort of person. I go in their room.
Got to, haven't you?
You don't know,
because you got to tailor what you're projecting to whatever audience is in front of you. I learned that from the stand-up comedy, because like if you've got an older audience, I used to do like some gigs in like golf clubs. So like the people were there with the wives and stuff like that. So you'd quell the bad language, unless it was like for that shock value, and then you quell the bad language, and then you bring out the F word at the moment that nobody was expecting it, and then everybody would like
shake them up a bit, yeah.
But if you were doing like a comedy club, you could swear right the way through it, because they kind of expecting.
Yeah, they're looking for that.
Yeah. So it's reading the room. So, and you're 100% right, because if you're that guy who's swaggering around and going, look at how many books I've got. I've got 8 million books, and I'm the best person in the entire world. You don't want to read anybody else. People are going to get sick of that.
And what do you got to talk about? If that's if that's the extent of somebody's conversation. But what I'm trying to say to people is, just come on, do these sort of shows. Just talk to people. Don't get a thing built up in your head. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to bring out a lot of guys, because it only does you better. Letting people get to see you. Obviously, in this day of fucking political correctness, so you gotta. I don't care personally. If I get cancelled tomorrow, that's fine. I'll go do something else. That's just me.
Yeah.
But
political correctness is
everyone's afraid now even to speak.
But it's mad because we're being ruled by a small, tiny percentage of an audience, and the huge, massive percentage are all right with it. But this little tiny percent who were offended by absolutely fucking everything.
And they don't even live up to their own standards.
Oh,
no, I mean,
let's not get started with Facebook.
Oh God, that's as you know, everyone that gets involved in this show, we have a group, and I try and keep everybody informed what's going on. And lately it's just been, we got banned for this, and all I'm doing is putting up book covers and just hey, check this book out. Not doing anything untoward. I have yet to have a book with like a super graphic image that's bannable. Do you know what I mean? A lot of books are.
There are some of them about.
And I've seen. In fact, the artist that drew the covers for my two, he did loads. Loads of really risque stuff, and it was the same. Fucking Facebook's just like, nah. But they're using algorithms, so they're even banning without somebody looking at it. And it's just winding me up. Yeah. Everything's just becoming so bland.
It's like they're actually banning artwork that depicts tasteful nudity. If the artwork shows a hint of a nipple, they'll ban it. They'll cut it straight off. And you're like,
but look at Instagram and look at Hollywood. So you've got Hollywood, and basically they're naked on stage with a few bits of. So the same people that are talking about this stuff aren't living up to their own standards, because every photograph or picture of them, they're basically in the nude anyway. They're not leaving anything to the imagination, so they're not adhering to the standard they're trying to put out. It's like, we're the elites, we'll do what we want, but the peasants, you must.
You've got to stand. You've got to get in line. But the horror genre is getting kicked in the teeth an awful lot more than any other genre, because the romance books that depict scantily clad women and big rippling muscly fellas holding each other in erotic embraces, they're not getting banned left, right, and centre. But if you splash a little tiny bit of blood, because
it's freaking everybody out. But
they're taking the horror genre, and it's almost as if they're singling the horror genre.
But has that been any different?
No.
When has horror ever not been kicked?
Well, it's the definition of horror is to scare you, and if you're offended at being scared, fuck off.
Yeah, don't go. Do you know what I mean? Like, you were mentioning Facebook. I'm a member of over 100 groups, and those 100 groups I've whittled down, because I used to be members of loads for promotion and everything else, but some of the most precious fucking uptight people are in horror groups, and they're the ones banning and reporting. You're like, what the fuck are you doing in a horror group? It's the whole point of the genre. And then I end up late. I leave more groups than I join, and at the moment I've got a nice group that I've been in. A lot of groups I've been in for years, and I post once a week a new episode, or I'll like a meme or whatever else, and I have my interaction. But that's taken like 8 years worth of whittling down to the ones I'm in. But you still get these people.
That you like,
you still get these people, and what the fuck are you doing watching a horror movie or doing a horror group? If you're that fragile,
if you're that fragile,
go sort yourself out.
If you're that fragile, go and watch a fucking Will Ferrell film. Now, don't get me wrong, Will Ferrell's one of my favourite comedy actors. But if you don't want to watch a horror film, if you're going to get offended by a horror film, then watch some of the Will Ferrell comedy films, because you're going to get more offended by that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's double standards.
But horror has always been the kicking post. Stuff. And because the nature of horror is to unsettle you, they actually challenge you. You know what I mean? It's been
Exactly.
the only genre that actually sets out to shake your world up.
Yeah.
And it does it so many different ways.
To make you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. It's to make you feel, because everybody loves being scared. Kids love being scared. Kids love the ghost story around the campfire.
Yeah.
And kids love the ghost story at Christmas. And, you know, they're not big fans of it when they've got to go to bed on their own and they've got like the lights on and stuff like that. That was me until I was 14, by the way. I loved the horror films, but I had to sleep with the lights on. But so kids, from an early age, people love being scared. Do you know what I mean? It's inherent in our nature that we're scared of the dark, we're scared of what we don't know. But people seem to get offended by it. It's like all the Hollywood horror films that are coming out now. They're just so fucking sterile.
Jesus
they're so
Christ.
stale.
This year's been a lot better.
Well, I went to see X the other day. It's a slasher film, and it's set in the 1970s.
Oh yeah, I've seen it advertised. I just haven't been inspired to go and see it.
Do you know what? It's a decent film. It's a decent horror film. So like a 70s horror film. There's a few pairs of tits in it. There's a few arses and stuff like that, and then there's like a load of gore and stuff like that. But it didn't do anything new. All it did was nostalgia, going back to the 1970s, like to like the original Friday the 13th and the original Halloween, that type of vibe. But it didn't do anything new. And it's getting heralded as the best horror film this year and stuff like that and whatnot.
But I don't see when they're trying to tell you that. I ignore it.
Yeah, but it's just all these horror films, like the Annabelle films and Sinister and stuff like that, or whatever they're called. They're all it's just jump scares. So people now think that horror is just a series of jump scares, bang, 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 jump scare, jump scare. What my favorite horror film, and a lot of people lambast me for this, and like my missus and my daughters watch it with me, and they're like, I don't get it, is the Blair Witch Project, because you're not spoon-fed the horror. Do you know what I mean? You've got to actually extract that horror from that situation, because if you go into it expecting it's going to be like Paranormal Activity 47,
oh Jesus,
and you're going to get spoon-fed this horror,
yeah,
then all you're watching is a group of people in the woods going off their heads. But if you think about what's happening off camera, and you think about what's happening outside the tent, and you think about what's happening in the darkness, that's where the fear is, and that's where the horror is, and it's on here, yeah. But people can't get that.
The thing is, I hate found footage movies. Blair Witch Project did it once, did it well, and then after that, it's just been a big pile of shit. Apart from Troll Hunter,
they completely and utterly ruined it for themselves.
Yeah, the only other one that got it right was Troll Hunter. I don't know if you've seen that.
Which one?
Scandinavian movie.
No, not seen that one.
Right, it's a Scandinavian found footage movie about a troll hunter, literally going hunting trolls.
Yeah.
The only time I've actually really enjoyed, ever since Blair Witch, I've enjoyed found footage because I've seen a lot of like fucking VHS was horrendous. I was asleep like during that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. There's one, and it might be called Hell House, and it's where the students go in and they try to make it into like one of these Halloween scare houses, but the house is actually haunted anyway.
All right, God, no, I wouldn't even have.
Yeah.
Once I see found footage, I'm out. I'm not even entertaining it.
Yeah, I'm not bothered. But it's so over, isn't it? Yeah. But that one about the house isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's going to touch the Blair Witch because it's the original and it's just the best. And no, it's done.
Yeah, so you just got to leave it.
Yeah.
And move on. But then that's a problem with the corporate mindset. Oh, let's keep milking the others till they're red raw. People are crying out. That's the thing. People are crying out for originality now. And that's why I'm trying to do whatever I can to promote independent creators.
You're not going to see it. Out for originality. You're 100% right when you're saying that they're crying out for originality. However, Scream 5 was recently out, and it was one of the highest grossing films, and it's shit.
Yeah, we have arguments. Adam, one of our co-hosts, loves the franchise.
Well,
Cameron and I absolutely detest it, and he keeps trying to get us on. You got to watch this. We got to do it. I'm like, no, it's not happening. Cameron's like, no, it's not happening. And we're having this like mini argument because he wants to watch it and I don't. And actually, I've pointed him somewhere else. It's like, here, this guy wants to talk about it. Give that a go. You know, at least you have somebody that agrees with you. I'll never hate somebody, and I'll never fall out with somebody over what somebody likes.
No, you like what you like, don't you?
You like what you like, and that's part of the diversity of life. Meeting people that you don't.
Yeah, that's why ice cream comes in so many different flavors.
Yeah, because but these people are trying to say vanilla, that's the flavor, and if you don't like vanilla, you're a horrible, disgusting person. But I'm going to eat my mint chocolate chip here because I'm an elite.
Yeah,
and it's like fuck off.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, but I mean, if you like that, you like it, so go and see it. But I think it's shit because it's not. There's nothing original happening. There's nothing original, but. On the flip side of that, I do graphic novels. I do comics. Graphic novels, and horror novels.
Mm-hmm.
And my best-selling graphic novel is I did a rhyming version of A Christmas Carol. So it's true to the original, and it's all written in rhyme. And the artwork's done by a guy who works for the Beano. And it's a beautiful. God,
there's a blast from the past.
Thing.
Didn't they try to cancel the Beano?
It's because people know the characters and people know the story, so they don't want to go in and invest in learning about new stories and new people and new slashes and stuff like that. So when Jason 963 comes out, or the new Halloween film, which was shit.
God, I haven't even seen the latest one. I watched what was the last one? Halloween Kills is the latest one, or Halloween Ends hasn't come out yet. I saw the one before Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
And I snored the whole way through it.
Oh, God, it was just so dull.
Paint by numbers, just like what they're doing with Laurie Strode, no idea.
It's not even scary now because we've all seen Michael Myers in The Mask. So we've all seen him. So, all right, he's going to come and he's going to kill some people in some gruesome ways, but we kind of know that's going to happen. So no matter how much you go,
that's...
and you're thinking to yourself, you still know.
I've talked about this before, but why my favourite franchise, long-standing one, is A Nightmare on Elm Street, is because the third movie, they understood they're not going to scare people anymore. So they went down the comedy road.
Yeah.
And the wisecracks. They were actually that self-aware that they realised by the third movie, okay, we've done all the scares.
Yeah.
Let's go down the comedy road. And that's why...
Is that Dream Warriors, the third one?
Dream Warriors, yes.
Yeah.
And that's where they started to introduce the comedy element.
Yeah.
And that's where...
Freddie was coming out and having a laugh, wasn't he, before he killed people.
So you weren't going to go, anymore anyway.
Yeah. Now, Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my favourite horror films, the original one, because that was an original fucking take, and nobody had done it before. Everybody knew that they had like these night terrors, and people had the old woman who sits on your chest and sucks your soul out and stuff like that, and people can't, so messing about with people's dreams, that was a fucking brilliant idea.
Yeah, because you have to sleep and there's no escape. There's
no escape.
You're going to step into the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite films, and out of like I'm not a fan of Halloween. And I have arguments with people on Facebook all about this and Twitter because I think
why is it an argument?
Halloween.
Why is
exactly.
it? Okay, I like this. Yeah. I like this because here's my reasons why I enjoy it. I don't like it because here's my reasons. Yeah. It's not fuck you fucking piece of shit. You don't like it, you're fucking. I'm gonna report you to Facebook and get you kicked out of the group.
Yeah, but I don't like Halloween because it's not scary and it's dated really bad. If you watch the original, fucking hell. Slow. I was made up because my partner, she'd never seen it. And so when we got together, I said, oh, do you know what? Halloween. I said, we'll sit in, turn the lights off and we'll watch Halloween. And she was bored and I was fucking bored. And I'm thinking, this film hasn't aged well. It's got a really good premise, a really great idea. It just hasn't aged well.
God, and Rob Zombie versions as well. What was the one that had Busta Rhymes? Was it Resurrection? They tried to bring a bit of comedy into it, and it just fell flat in its face.
Yeah, I've given up on them. I watched the Halloweens. I only watched the recent Halloweens because we've got that Limitless, where you can go to the pictures as much as you want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you pay a certain amount. I mean, we've gone to see some boss films that you wouldn't have expected, but we've gone
I
to
was
see
going
some
to get
shit.
that, except the recent storms wrecked my cinema.
Oh,
And
right.
I
I
only
remember you
went,
saying,
only got back
yeah.
up again last week. In fact, I was going to see Uma last week, and arrived.
Which,
I was talking about it last Sunday, but I arrived in the
right.
cinema for the time, and then like, no, we're not showing it tonight. What? Yeah, but took it off. We just changed the schedule. I even messaged them the next day, going, "What the fuck?" I turned up here to
Yeah.
go and watch something. I'm going to try and see it this week because I think that's the last week it's running or something. But there's one
Which
I
one?
wanted to go.
Which film is it? Sorry.
Uma.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's set in
That one looked
America.
brilliant.
It's a
Yeah.
Korean. It's
It's the
K-horror, but it's
girl
set in
out of Killing
America.
Eve, isn't it?
Hmm?
Yeah. It's the girl out of Killing Eve.
Yes.
Yeah, the Oriental girl, the Asian girl. Yeah, but that looks brilliant. That film, I really, really do like the look of that film.
Yeah, I said it was all set up. I wanted to go and see it, and then it wasn't. And then I'm like, what the hell? And it's because the storms wrecked the whole front foyer of the cinema, so it was all glass.
Yeah.
It just got completely mangled.
It's got smashed up. No way.
No,
But the thing
it's
is
like
that
a double set.
The thing is that on our cinema, I think it played for about a day and a half, and then they took it off. It's completely gone.
That's so random. I wanted to go see
crazy.
Studio 666, and they had the poster up,
Yeah.
and then it just wouldn't list. I'm like, why are you teasing me like this? Why are you putting the poster up outside the building,
And then don't have the film.
and then don't
on?
have a film showing? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Apparently, it's really fucking bad. Though someone said it's awful. Someone said the Foo Fighters are musicians and not actors.
See, I was expecting Pick of Destiny. That's what I've got in my head. Like another version
like
of Pick of Destiny,
Yeah,
which was. But then again, it's not Tenacious D run it, so
yeah.
maybe it's.
I like them. Do you ever remember Trick or Treat from back in the late 80s,
Oh
early
god,
90s?
that was a while ago.
That was a great film, that. Yeah, yeah. Ozzy Osbourne's in it as the preacher. He's a preacher in it, isn't he, on the telly?
Yeah, God, that's. I haven't seen that in years.
And Steve Vai's the devil, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the same as Absolutely, one of my favorite horror movies of all time that really unsettled was Prince of Darkness. We had Alice Cooper playing the homeless guy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that was all about liquid and no, I mean, they managed to make a horror movie out of liquid and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like that was so clever.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, some of the smaller independent films are absolutely fantastic, but they just don't get that mainstream. There was a film out late last year called Last Night in Soho.
yeah, we reviewed it. We did an episode.
I loved that film. I
Bloody
thought
brilliant.
it was superb. I really, really did. Yeah. I mean, I know a few people who disliked it, but I loved the authenticness, the way they got the 1960s, the way it looked in the 1960s, and I just think they grasped it. And I thought the guy who played Doctor Who, what's his name, Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah, he was.
I thought he played a fantastic baddie. I really did.
Yeah, and then
That
it
menacing
turned.
look.
Yeah, just the way he switched it around.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that film, and again, it was like an original horror. It was an original. It wasn't the most scary film, and it wasn't the most horrific film, but it was a horror, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was the best
Once
film I've
again,
seen last year.
the horror genre, and this is why I love this genre. It comes in various degrees. Do you know what I mean? Some are there just to frighten you. Others are there to unsettle you. Some are there to make you
Some
think.
people laugh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And question your reality. And they're some of the best ones. If you're coming away scratching your head going, holy shit, that could happen.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. That's horror's done its job. Or even thinking, oh, this was going on. Like the real world stuff, never mind the supernatural stuff, but the real world stuff is the bit that actually gets you sometimes. It's like, crap, this has been going on for years. And
Yeah.
and nobody's twigged on.
Event Horizon was a good one for me because that messed with your head.
Oh, I remember seeing it in the cinema.
Yeah.
Ed O'Neill.
One of the older ones.
No,
Well,
was it Ed O'Neill? No, not Ed O'Neill.
Which one?
The actor, he was in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. God. See what I mean? I'm getting older. My brain gets scattered. Sam Neill. It was I knew there was a Neill in there somewhere.
I only know that because I'm rewatching Peaky Blinders at the moment, and he's in the spare season.
Oh God.
But yeah, brilliant film. Absolutely brilliant film.
He
But
actually
also,
made a decent attempt at a Belfast accent. That was, I have to say.
do you know what? I was quite impressed. You can listen to it, like, because I'm obviously the same as you. People can't do good Belfast accents if they're not from Belfast. people cannot do Scouse accents if they're not from Liverpool.
No, it's
You know what I mean? So I actually watched Sam Neill and I thought, you know what, he actually is pulling this off.
it's actually quite
But it's
refreshing to
like
speak to somebody this side of the pond, because most of my interactions are with people other parts of the world, and I have to really tone myself down, slow it. Oh, so that they can grasp what I'm talking about, and then you lose a lot of the excitement because
it's the same with me because you're obviously the same. So when you get more excited about something, you talk more Scouse and you talk faster, and it's like it's all over
going 90 a dozen, and that's
But the Belfast accent, I mean, it's like one of my favourite programmes recently has been that Derry Girls.
Oh god, that's I'll explain to people this is why I was a late starter and I was a virgin throughout school, because that just brought back memories of the sort of girls I went to school with. Wee millbags, you know what I mean? We called them millies because it was the old derogatory term for girls who used to work in the mill, really rough, like they would kick the shit out of you more than anything else, and you just stayed away from them.
I love it. I love the fact that it's got comedy, but it's really it's got poignant moments. Not because it talks about the troubles in Northern Ireland and stuff like that, and it doesn't shy away from them, but it shows them in a comedic manner.
But what it captured that was daily life.
Yeah.
And most people, like, patrols went up and down the streets, nobody batted an eyelid. It was just part of life, and the fact that they managed to have that as part of life and not over dramatize it, because that's one thing the Yanks do and it really pissed me off, is they don't even have a clue what they're talking about, and they get involved and they try to say this, that and the other, like, you weren't even there, shut up.
But did you see the film Belfast?
No, not yet.
No, I loved it.
The thing is, they started doing the PC. Apparently they started doing the diversity stuff and all in PC, and it was like, you're missing the point. 1970s Belfast did not have a diverse population.
Irish.
Because nobody would come near us. And they missed that point. Because they're trying to bring in modern day diversity. The fact was, we were an isolated country because no fucker would come near. Nobody, unless you were actually putting a uniform around the streets, would come near our country.
People couldn't understand the rift just between Catholics and Irish, Catholics and Protestants. You couldn't understand the deep-rooted. But you see, like, my family's from Ireland, and my family's from Scotland.
But it goes back thousands of years. This isn't like
thousands of years, but it's a great film, though. It's really, really good. It's well acted. It's well scripted, and it's like I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
No, it's cool. I've seen it. It's going to appear in Amazon soon, I think. I'll check it out because our cinema was destroyed, so it went out of commission for about 3 months.
It
was January time that came out, and just then it got wrecked, and it was like, okay, well, guess I'm not going there then.
I'm thinking, I'm seeing. Where are you from? Are you actually in Belfast?
Well, I'm actually West London at the moment.
Oh right. Oh okay.
Yeah, so I'm down in the Ponty South.
Because I was thinking a little tiny provincial little cinema. Do you know what I mean? And like
what it is, because I'm on the outskirts of London, because I was living abroad, came home 2020. Obviously, everything got locked down, so I was kind of stuck in London, couldn't move further forward. Got somewhere to live. I was living in central London originally. It was horrendous. I've moved out here to sort of the outskirts, so it's like like the London boroughs. So this is one of the other ones before you leave.
I used to live in Reading. I lived in Reading for a little while.
All right. I'm out here in Feltham, so it's enough. You can get to the places, like it's about an hour into central London, but I've got the one cinema. The next one's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. You
don't want to do that.
And I don't want to do that. No movie. It would have to be an exceptional movie, especially with shit coming out now, to make me travel, especially at night time. Like, you get your head caved in. You have to.
The few and far between good films. Now, luckily enough, we've got the Limitless, and luckily enough, the multiplex cinema from our house is about a 7-minute walk. So we can walk the cinema, go to McDonald's, come back, and happy days. And there's or do the way down, and there's your evening, and it's boss because you can do it. You can just walk, and you're there. So we're such lucky with that.
Yeah, that was me back home. I would finish work and I'd go and see a movie, like hit Friday night or Friday afternoon, and okay, right, next one's at 6 o'clock. Okay, cool. Walk into the city centre, depending where I was working, but go into the city centre, jump in, watch a movie. Yeah. No, it's just a bit more planning's needed.
Now you got to plan it.
Yeah.
yeah. Take a mortgage out to go and see it. Yeah.
Like when I went to see, like I said, I went to go see Uma. They didn't have it on, so I went to see that Batman movie, and the only screen, because I'm here now, I may as well watch something.
Yeah.
And they only had it in the fucking 4K Max thing, so it was near 30 quid. The sitting seats that jumped about and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted with myself.
Film, though. What did you think of it? I loved it.
It was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It was more like the comics, more like a detective drama.
That's what they said. They were taking it back, weren't they, to the original detective comics. Mm-hmm. So he was doing detective work as opposed to him being a superhero.
The bits that I didn't like is where he's basically full brightly lit rooms, full of police officers, and he's just walking in.
And he's just walking through. I thought that, and I thought there was a good half an hour that they could have cut off there. And I actually think that the character of Catwoman, if they hadn't have introduced her into the film, she wouldn't have been missed.
No, so the actress is a wooden plank as well.
Well, yeah, she's
Kravitz,
Lenny Kravitz's daughter, isn't she?
Oh, right. So here we go. Here's the fucking nepotism. Just famous for being famous sake.
Hollywood nepotism happening, yeah.
Yeah, God.
But it was neither. I just thought her character was neither there. So you could have took her character off and reduced that film by half an hour or 45 minutes.
And it'd been a really tight drama.
Yeah, because 3 hours is a long fucking time in the pictures, no matter how comfortable you sit. And you've got a big thing of fucking Coke.
Oh, God, I had 3 pisses during the bath. I had to go 3 times, and I only had a medium Sprite.
No pause. Yeah, so you can't pause it. You're like, just pause this.
I think that's as well. You get used to... We've got so used to streaming now, especially over the last 2 years, and it's there, and you can pause it, and you can mince about, get your stuff.
You can pause the match nowadays, can't you? You can pause the football. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Oh, man. This is classic way this show's going. We had questions, but nah.
We have digressed. I reckon you had a little script there of questions to ask.
Oh yeah, sure. I sent them to you just to put the points. But I'd rather do that. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather do that and just let the conversation go than
I love that.
Fucking sit and going robotic. I don't want to be about that. That's what fun's out for me.
I love that. I love that. I love loosey goosey. Just go with it. Just like I did a podcast the other day, and the woman said I'm just going to forewarn you. We put you on the spot for one question. We ask a completely unrelated random question. She said, and I'll tell you now that we will do it. There's like a section. She said it does stump some people, and I was like, just fucking bring it on. Yeah. So she asked me what was my favourite motorway, and within like 0.2 of a second, I was like fucking reeling off motorways, and she was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So,
I'm already thinking, because like I said, I'm in London here, and I was doing my head in. I'm just thinking the M6. I've got the M6 in my head, because I was like, get me. Eventually, maybe I'll give it another year, but I want to move back up north. I don't know if I want to go back to Belfast, but I definitely want to move north of the country, because people here are so sterile. Like, the whole thing with the southern punts. They're shocking. They're actually worse than the stereotype.
I lived in Reading and I worked in London. So I worked in Reading 3 days and worked in London 2 days a week. Mm-hmm. And so I always made sure that was like the end of the week for the 2 days in London. But boss place to go for recreation, but fuck living there. Oh, no, I couldn't do it.
No, this is the longest I've been. Normally London's somewhere you just travel through. You're going to a meeting or appointment.
You have a boss time while you're there and then move on.
Yeah. See, living here, it's a depressing hole. And I think the last 2 years hasn't helped. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of stuck anyway.
And everything's so fucking expensive now, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough, because if you're out of the, There's central London, and that's just everything on steroids. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Everything's
yeah.
3 times the price.
Yeah.
If you just step outside
Yeah.
of London, like I'm
You're not so
about
bad.
15 minutes away from Hounslow, and it's a
Right.
bit of a shithole. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you can go and you can pick up a few bits for the house cheaply.
Yeah.
So at least
Instead of
that's
paying proper
livable,
London prices.
and you're
Yeah.
not paying London prices. But the minute you start going central, like Twickenham onwards, fuck me,
Yeah, no, no,
bad,
no.
man.
As I say, boss place to visit, and I absolutely, I've got nothing but fucking good memories of being in London, but I couldn't live there full time. There's no chance. I reckon I'd have been dead by now
Yeah,
because there's so many fucking pubs.
yeah, but you
Yeah,
couldn't afford
I
this.
wouldn't could afford to drink in them, and half of them.
Yeah, thankfully Weatherspoons is across the board, so you've always got Weatherspoons.
Oh,
So it doesn't matter
yeah,
where you
I
are.
hate
There's
them.
always a Weatherspoons, and it's always reasonable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that it is cheap ale, but I just can't abide. I can't abide the fella who owns the Weatherspoons after what he did. He sacked all the staff, didn't he? When the lockdown
No,
kicked
he
in and
tried
stuff.
to. He was one of the ones that made an effort.
No, he came back because he got lambasted for it, didn't he? Because he let all the staff go when he could have furloughed them, and then he got lambasted for it, and then he brought them all back on
I
furlough,
missed that
didn't he?
bit.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
dirty
yeah.
shit going on at the moment. And it doesn't matter about. I hate politics, but they're all the same.
Oh,
Every one of them's
yeah.
exactly the same. They all talk the same shit.
I get fished in to politics. I'm like that. Rah, because I'm from Liverpool.
Oh, and you guys
And
are like,
we're all Labour and we cannot abide the Tories, but the Tories are just fucking raping this country. And now you started me, and now
oh
I'm
god,
fished in again now, and I'm
no.
like that.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
Never talk about the Tories.
And the thing is, as well, people try to equate American politics with ours, and it's completely different. Even the names and the terms are different.
It's a million miles away from ours, yeah. But it's they try to talk about this like special relationship between Britain and America, but there's no fucking special relationship. They don't even know we exist. But this big, to them being this big, and especially now that we're out of Europe, we're even fucking smaller now than what we were.
Like everything's.
Britain thinks it's still got an empire, and Britain thinks it's still got a say in what goes on, and we've got no fucking say in nothing. I mean, because like all the people for NATO are all sending they're sending all their top negotiators and their presidents and stuff like that to all talk about what's going on in the Ukraine, and we send this fucking scarecrow that nobody wants to even touch because he stinks of piss and cigarettes. Do you know what I mean? It's like you fucking.
They're all the same. That's the problem.
You've started me
You
now.
can't tell the difference. And I can't even say this party over that party because every one of these
Labour now. This Keir Starmer in charge of Labour, he's a fucking Tory in Labour clothes. He really is. The guy, if we had a decent fucking Labour leader right now, while the Tories are at the lowest they've ever been with this fucking Partygate, the sleaze, the fucking just the incompetency that they've done about like the rollouts, the corruption that they've done with giving all that
yeah,
the
but they're doing it as well. That's a problem. They're all the same.
Yeah,
we need to actually
exactly.
break a cycle.
Yeah,
We
if
need to
had
break a
decent
cycle, get out
leader-
of the Labour conservative mindset because I was the same back home. It was, you know what I mean? It's just become two parties. That's your only choice, and people are afraid to step outside the box. And then the same people who are lambasting each other in front of the stage, pantomime, are all shaking each other's hands in the back room. They've all went to the same schools. They've all grown up in the same neighbourhoods.
Well, that's we got bits on the arse for it a few years ago because there was like I can't even fucking think who the Labour leader was at the time. It was Tony Blair, and Tony Blair was an absolute fucking Tony Blair. That's what we called him.
I did three tours of Iraq for that
So
bastard.
everyone did a protest vote and voted for Lib Dems, right? I know a load of people who did protest votes and voted Lib Dem, and then the fucking Lib Dems turned around and partnered up with the Tories.
But Lib Dems have always been a protest vote, but they're the same people. In fact, I think it's worse if you're on the sidelines, and that's why I have no time. Like, I was following the Brexit Party for a bit, and then became Reform UK. I thought, here's a chance, something different.
Yeah.
They're the same people. They're fucking bringing the same people into the party from both all other walks of life. So this.
And then he started bringing the people from the fucking NF in, didn't he? In the National Front and like
fucking idiots.
Like
so these people are all in a. It's like Hollywood. It's a version of Hollywood. It's all the same people. No talent. Yeah. They all swap between the parties, like fucking changing jobs. They've no loyalty to a party. They don't stand for anything.
Loyalty. The only loyalty they've got is to the fucking back pockets. That's the only loyalty.
Yeah.
Everybody who says that they want to go into a career in politics needs to be locked up as soon as they've said that.
Well, I have a more.
Fucking lock them up.
I have a solution in mind, which I can't say in here. It'll get me in trouble. I'll have a friggin' knock on the door. But they need to be gone, all of them, and then we need to start again.
Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, needs to wipe that fucking elitist class out. I mean, how the fuck? What right did they have to be elitist class?
Because it's allowed to happen. And it's the same with shitty movie. Like, to keep us on topic, it's the same with Hollywood. As long as we keep filling the cinemas and paying these shit people to bring out crap products, people will always go the same. And that's why I'm trying to, check out independent creators.
Don't get
break
me started.
The cycle.
Don't get me started on Top Gun 2. What the fuck? Who needs to see Top Gun 2?
You're an idiot if you... I won't even watch the trailers. I'll not even give the trailers the watch time, the click.
Top Gun 1 was fucking bad enough. And now they're bringing out Top Gun 2.
Fucking valid. It's like... You can be my wingman any day.
It's bad acting. All the money's gone. The fucking billions that they spend on films these days, that's all gone on fucking special effects and flying these airplanes.
And reshoots, they keep fucking up and having to reshoot entire movies. Like every movie has a few scenes, but what they're doing is they're messing up so badly, and then they're having to go back and redo the whole movie from scratch almost.
Yeah.
And then
the only good film that Tom Cruise has been in is The Interview with the Vampire. I can't fucking buy them in anything else.
No,
Interview with the Vampire was brilliant, and he was actually really good in that. And I can't think of another good film that he's in. I really can't.
The only other good film he was in, and as a start, was The Last Samurai, and the only reason is because Billy Connolly was in it. And the reason I am convinced to this day, the reason Billy Connolly's character got killed off was because he was out acting Tom Cruise.
Because he was out acting, yeah.
Because
possibly. I haven't seen it because if it says starring Tom Cruise, that means to me, stay away.
Yeah, but then I was the same mind. But then it's like fucking Billy Connolly. I have to go and see it. And I was like,
you have to go and see it, yeah.
And then he got killed off in the movie, and I was like, oh shit, I've got to sit through the rest of this.
Time to go. wasn't that another 3-hour film?
That was a while, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. My brain, once Billy Connolly's character went, I switched off.
Yeah.
My brain just went, no longer interested.
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it? It's funny that you see a film with a character or an actor, and that drags you in, or drags you out, or puts you off. Do you know what I'm saying?
And it's becoming more. I think a lot of people have been talking about now. The whole Hollywood actor is gone now. The whole star power.
Yeah, like the Burt Lancaster and
people don't go to movies now to see actors because they've shown their arses. Social media has done as a favour in one aspect. We've seen what other planks,
bellends,
they're just thick. They've no idea about anything.
They're publicists. I watched. It's funny because I watched a little YouTube video on this the other day, and it was just saying like the people they've now got Twitter and they're now unfiltered, and they shouldn't fucking have mobile phones. These people, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And all of a sudden, here they are trying to think that they're like fucking movers and shakers in the world of politics and telling us how we should be living our lives. And you're like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It's like that girl at the Hunger Games. What's her name? Jennifer Lawrence, is it?
Jennifer Lawrence.
And she's standing up for fair pay for women, and women should be paid equal to men and stuff like that. And like they were saying, that's all very well for you who's earning 25 million a fucking film, but you know, like if you get a woman plumber, do you know what I mean? You don't know how she fucking lives. Do you know what I mean? You don't know anything
what
to do
job
with
now
how
advertised. what job now advertised, offering a rate of pay, goes, here's a man's rate of pay, here's a woman's rate of pay.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Now,
No.
in subjective trades, it's up to you how good you are.
Yeah.
So star power, for example, if you've got star power, it doesn't matter what you are. If you can get people to watch you, cool. If you're a writer and you can get people to read your books, nobody gives a shit. And I'm sick of these
No one
lunatics.
cares. So, yeah, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, right? If I hadn't been coming onto these podcasts, I'm D.E. McCluskey. That's what I write as.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows whether that's Davina Edwina McCluskey. So no one knows whether I'm a woman, or no one knows whether I'm black, or whether I'm Asian, or whether I'm gay, or whether I'm straight, or whether I'm transsexual. No one knows that because it doesn't fucking matter. It's what I write. So it doesn't matter that, like, I'm in a catch-22 situation, and I'm probably going to get a little bit lambasted for this, but I'm in a catch-22 situation because I'm a straight, middle-aged white man, right? So I write about straight, middle-aged white men in horrific, in horror things, because that's what I know.
Yeah.
So I can't write about the struggles of African American people, or the struggles of the Windrush generation. I can't write about that because I've never experienced it. I don't know it.
But if you had a character,
You know what I mean?
if it made sense to your story and you had a character, you could do the research.
You can have a character in it, yeah,
could
and you
ask
can do the
somebody.
research. Yeah, you can do the research. But for me, it has to be almost like a peripheral character, or like a third level, because I don't know the struggles that they've been. I don't know the struggles that the gay community went through in the 1980s. I can't talk about that because I didn't experience it. So I can research it, and I can research the fuck out of it, but I'm going to get something wrong because it's not something that I experienced. And people always say, write what you know. So I know the struggles, and people are going to say, how the fucking hell does a white middle-aged straight man struggle? But a white middle-aged straight man struggles.
As a human being, you can struggle.
Yeah, of course you can.
Everyone has their own.
Yeah. I'm a Scouser. Fucking hell, we get lambasted everywhere we go. People are always saying, fucking hell, have you robbed me car, or have you robbed me wheels? Or
I made a joke because there's a group I'm in, busy Clive Barker fans, and the next book coming up's Weaveworm. And I'm like, fuck, a story that starts off with two Scousers necking a carpet. Brilliant. Because that's basically what it is. Funny story, Weave World actually takes place literally up my street. Yeah.
It's there's a couple of segments in it that are in a little place called Swift's Lane, and that is up literally up the street, right by the canal. So there you go.
Because it always starts off the canal in the industrial section, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't read it in years.
I haven't read it in years.
Just what hit me, it's like the whole joke, instead of hubcaps, it was a carpet. And like,
it was a carpet, yeah.
And it started off a whole chain of events. I'm like,
but that's what I can write. I can write that because I lived that. You know what I mean? It's like, because when I lived in Reading, I got loads of grief for being a Scouser. And everywhere you go, and I've worked all around the country, and like for the job that I was in for 20 years, I was all around the country. I was in like different locations all the time. We were over in Ireland quite often. We were in Belfast quite a bit, and and everywhere we went, everyone was like, "Oh, here's the Scousers! Oh, watch your backs, watch your wallets. They're going to rob your wallets."
Yeah, but I bet you the same people are probably buying you a pint up north anyway, not down here.
Yeah, and it's a laugh. Do you know what? I've never once taken offence at it. Never once taken. I was like, you know what? I said, I took your wallet and I put it back because there was fuck all in it. So there was
actually, I put some money in it for you because I felt sorry for you.
Because I felt sorry for you, you ugly bastard. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So that's you'd give it back, and I never ever took offence. But so we're not allowed to, Scousers. We're not allowed to, because if you take offence at it and you snap back at them and go, "Oh, I've heard that Scouts are supposed to be the funniest people in the world, so and you're obviously fucking that." So you just go with it. Do you know what I mean?
British humour as well. We absolutely destroy each other.
Oh, the Irish get lambasted, don't they? The Irish.
This is the only time I've been over and living in England not being called Paddy. That used to wind me up, something shocking, you know what I mean? Because I'm not from that side of the fence. You know what I mean? My streets are painted red, white and blue. So to call me Paddy, like,
But you know what?
what?
If you go with the place, some people don't even realise that there's a difference between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. A lot,
It's
there's
funny
some
enough
people
because
who
my
don't
last
know.
job there, there was a company I was dealing with, and they had a couple of guys from over the border, and like 5 minutes, we were being polite, professionally, and sure enough, after we've known each other for a day or two, we start giving each other shit, and the Londoners and the office are like, "What the hell's going on here?" And they're just like,
but it's banter, isn't it? As I say, it's banter, and you can either take, but again, people are starting to take offence at banter. So you can't win. You can't win these days.
but it's a fringe.
It's bizarre.
It's a fringe group,
Yeah,
and that's what's annoying me.
a lot of the publishers nowadays are putting out that they want authors from diverse cultures. So they want the black, Asians, the Chinese, they want homosexuals, they want transgender people and stuff like that to write their stories. And you know what? They've got a voice, and that's 100%. And probably in the past, these people might have been shunned because nobody, they do think to themselves, "Oh, I'm a mainstream publisher. Maybe I want to shy away from that a little bit." So I can understand that people are asking for that now.
But
but no one ever asks for the Scouser's point of view.
Yeah, but I've never asked anybody on this show what you are, or I've never got a fucking tick box out, or the Dulux colour chart. Okay,
yeah,
I've got this shade this way. I don't give a flam fuck. If you've got a story and it's horror and it's good and it's enjoyable, and if I can help promote, I don't care who anybody is. Be decent to me, I'm decent back, and that's always been.
Yeah. And if you write a good story, then I want to read it. I don't care whether you're fucking green, whether you've got fucking tentacles, or whether, I don't give two fucks. If you're writing a good yarn, or if you're making a good film, or if you're making good music.
Like there's some author interviews I've seen, not I've been involved in, but just like I said, I've narrowed down who I interact with in terms of groups and stuff, because people always lead with once somebody starts a sentence with as a insert pejorative, I've lost interest, because that's the only thing you've got to say about yourself. You're not going to interest me. Because it's only one tiny aspect. No, but I could sit and do it. I could be as a Belfast man, somebody who grew up in the Troubles, whose life was in danger every second of the day. I didn't know if I was going to come home alive at night. Fuck off. What sort of a dickhead would that make me sound like?
Well, exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's like vegans. It's like vegans. If there's 4 people in the room and one of them's a vegan, which one is it?
They're the one that told you.
One who's shouting about being a vegan.
Yeah.
If you're that way inclined, and you know what? It doesn't fucking matter to me. I don't care. Gay, straight, fucking whatever. You might be from space. You might be from fucking Manchester. I don't care where you're from, or who you are, or what you do, or who you do it with, or what colour you are.
That's actually very liberal. You saying you don't mind Manchester people, I have to say that. That's really...
No, I didn't say I don't mind Manchester people.
Oh, right. Did I give you more?
No offence to anyone from Manchester.
But
my books are still available to buy in Manchester. No, but what I do is I
see that'll go over so many people's heads.
I know.
There'll be people going.
It really will. Yeah. But what I like to do is I base my books in the United States, the majority.
Oh, losing our wee sec.
Only because not many people. It's a strange one, because if you it's an English person writing about going to like stuff that's going in America, people are not going to sort of like go, well, I'm not reading that because he's a Scouser, or I'm not reading that because it's all about Manchester, or I'm not reading that because it's based in Newcastle. So I tend to like write them in America, because I'd say there's so many small places that you can just get you can be lost. Whereas in England, if you wanted to write a big epic horror, you've got a name. You can call it whatever you want and say it's in this state. And because it's so fucking big, you know what I mean? People just don't care. So that's what I tend to do. And it's inaugural to the story the characters could be black and they could be white. I've never, and but they're only told that they're gay because it comes into the story. 9 times out of 10, the main characters could be gay, and it doesn't make any difference
Unless they're
to the fucking
unless they're actually
storyline.
having sex and that's a sex scene, what does it matter?
So
Or if they're in a relationship,
unless it makes a change, yeah, yeah, unless it actually means something to the story. I've got a crime novel which I wrote. It's based in Liverpool in 1946. So I've gone so far back in time that it doesn't make a difference. It could be anywhere. It could be London. It could be Newcastle. But obviously it's Liverpool, so we could in that one. But the only reason why he's gay is because it was illegal then to be gay, and that's part of the blackmail that the main protagonist goes. Yeah, it's part of the story. Because otherwise, it doesn't fucking make a difference. Do you know what I mean? So it's
and that's once again. This
I think if you're writing stories that, yeah, and it's like, but it's also like a new series of Star Trek. Is it Discovery?
Wouldn't even watch it
because in the past they haven't introduced any gay characters in Star Trek, and there was a big hoo-ha about it because they're thinking that if it's 300 years in the future, people are going to be an awful lot more tolerant of homosexuality and stuff like that. So what they've done is they've created loads of gay characters. It doesn't make a difference. It makes no odds to me. But it's like they've gone out of the way to make these characters gay to actually tick a box.
And that's what I mean. It's clinical.
It doesn't make no odds. You know what I mean? It's a storyline. It doesn't make any difference. It's to stop offending people. What? I'm gonna get cancelled because of this.
Here, I'm probably joining you. But do you know what? See, the original Star Trek, that was the forefront of social justice. What I mean? In the pure term, not this shite that's going on now.
Yeah.
But what they did, and I hate the way they labelled fucking Gene Roddenberry as a misogynist. I was like, what the fuck? He was fighting against. He could have had an easy time with the executives. Yeah. He actually broke boundaries and went against the grain and put his neck on the line.
In the pilot of the original Star Trek, the second in command was a woman, and the executives in Paramount didn't like it because they had this woman who was second in command of the starship who was ordering the fellas about. So they changed her about, and that's why they developed Spock. So, he wasn't a misogynist. He was actually a visionary.
Yeah,
because he had the first interracial kiss.
Yep, and in fact, the executives tried to stop that
as well, didn't he?
The executives tried to stop that, and it was actually both Jane
had the first interracial kiss that was ever shown on American TV. Yeah, the executives didn't want it. Yeah,
and these idiots now are labeling him the same as fucking. I don't know. It's a cult.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a cult. That's the only way to describe it. At the moment, we have a cult.
He might have had misogynistic views because think about it. It was like 1950s, 1960s America. That's how it was portrayed. Everybody was a misogynist. Women were almost second class. But what he did is he actually changed it. He actually wanted to change things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think
I think
Star Trek.
You can't be a misogynist and actually put that much effort and make your life difficult at the time to push women forward. It's like people call Tarantino a racist.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? He's done more to challenge people's beliefs.
For what?
What is it? They used to call Tarantino a racist.
I've always thought Tarantino's had like really, really strong African American representation in his films. Django Unchained, obviously,
brilliant movie.
That's what the main character is. But then you got like Hateful Eight. and it's like got a very, very, very strong. Yeah,
Sorry, Dave, you're breaking up
that's
there a
like
second. I
a
think
I wouldn't say people look deep into things, and if you look deep into things, and you sorry, what was that?
no, you were just breaking up there a second. I think the
You're
internet
glitching a
was
little bit there.
playing silly buggers again. Right, I think we're back.
Uh,
Yep, I think we're no, you're frozen. We're
that was
back.
me. Then it cut off. Then yeah, back.
Yeah, it was more of
But
a wobble.
if you look if you look too much into anything, you're going to find whatever you want to. You're going to find what you want to find
yeah,
in any text, in anything.
and that's a
You
sad
know,
way
if you
to
look
live.
into if you look into children's books, and you know, like dogs, and he'll go and he'll chase cats, and you're going to say, well, why is that dog catist? Why doesn't he like cats? All animals should get along. And you're
Yeah,
like,
it's an
fuck
avoid
off,
from
there you
reality.
go.
Tackle actual incidents. When people do things, you deal with consequences. That's life. But this
Yeah,
cult that's running around at the moment is destroying. And like I said, horror is the one we're getting absolutely lambasted. We're always the kicking post for
yeah,
these weak individuals. Is the only way to describe it. They always come
yeah,
after horror, and that's why we need to stick together. That's why we need to do things against. That's why we need to support
yeah,
each other.
yeah. It needs to
And
be a community. It needs to be an inclusive community.
yeah, because if
You know what I
you're a horror
mean?
fan, you're
It's
already
like the
on the
Jordan Peele films, like people of society anyway.
yeah, you're already on the
But
fringes
The
if you're a
Jordan
horror
Peele
fan.
films, people are lambasting the Jordan Peele films because he's using predominantly black actors and thinking, oh, it's racist and stuff like that. But it's not. It's what he knows. It's what he does. It's
I wasn't fussed with
and
Candyman.
I've
I like Get Out. That was a cool movie.
I thought it was all right. I I enjoyed the original, but I really did enjoy the one that's just been. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you talking
But
about Candyman?
someone said, I think it was my missus said, like, yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought the ending was a bit shit. But my
It
missus said
didn't.
that he was too good looking to be scary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
the fact that the pretentious art crowd. I like the fact they were getting annihilated. I did get pleasure out of
yes,
that because those people annoy my
yeah.
happiness. The
Oh yeah,
gatekeepers, you cannot. It's like in the writing world as well. There's people who try to be like we've talked about, try to be gatekeepers.
yeah,
You haven't got 3 degrees in literature and study under a master. You cannot write. Um,
yes.
you
And you
don't
get an awful
have
lot.
10,000
Yeah.
followers. How dare you try and put
How
something out
dare
there?
you call yourself an author?
Yeah.
All you've done is self-publish. You're not an author. You're like the publishing house, these authors
You still have to self promote.
anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, so basically, if you're getting published by a big publishing company, you're doing all fucking self-publishing. So all this snobbery, I hate snobbery. I'm not a snob.
No, there's
Can't stand it. Yeah.
no, it's there's one thing. There's a difference between knowing quality and what you're looking for. But once again, art's subjective. So we'll go back to horror movies. Some horror movies are absolutely shit, but I love them. Um,
Yeah.
trying to think.
Yeah.
Favorite, like
Yeah.
my favorite horror comedies, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now that movie is
Yeah.
god
Yeah.
awful, but I love it because it's just
But
so cheesy.
it's so bad. It's so bad. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a novel.
I think a connection's starting to. I think we broke the internet.
Talking shite.
Just talking shit. They're just like, oh no, can't deal with this. Two
Cut
random
them
Brits.
off.
Cut
Yeah.
off on one. The
Cut
internet
them
was
off.
not ready.
Before they cancel themselves, cut them off.
That's what it is. It's friggin' Susan, the winged harpy of Silicon Valley's caught onto us. She's like, get that two off.
Yeah. It's Karens everywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
god, man. No, but I'm just sick of it. Like everything's become so sanitized
Yeah.
and boring and
Yeah.
by the numbers. And this is where I think we've got an opportunity as independent creators to break that and break into. If people are brave enough to try new things and let go of, if you're being force fed something, you got to question it.
Yeah. course
somebody's
you
telling
have.
you
Of course
this
you
is
have.
what you have to think.
Yeah. Because then you as you're right, you use the correct word. It can't be. You've got to go back to the original Saw film, which was completely and utterly fucking new for the time, and scared people. And you've got to do that because that's what horror is. Horror's not there to make you feel comfortable about yourself. Horror's there for you to challenge what you think of the world, how you see the world. You're challenging your own zeitgeist. You're challenging
You're
your
not the
own.
alpha predator.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But and we're not, because people are scared of the dark. What's in the dark? I don't know what's in the dark, but whatever it is, it could fucking eat you. Do you know what I mean? People are mollycoddled these days.
Yeah, and it's
You know
I'm
what I
hoping we're
mean?
starting to
So
the pendulum's starting to swing back.
you've got like all now over an island, because
Well, the historical
if you went
abuse
to a Catholic
apparently that's
school,
still going on now from
yeah,
like they're still digging up bodies from the Magdalene laundries.
yeah,
They're still finding fucking
and
pits or
you
whole
know
wells where
that
they
was
chuck
real
babies.
life horror. Yeah,
Fucking chuck babies down.
yeah.
Part of me wants to, like, my thing I'm working on at the moment
And
is
these
set.
people were supposed to be God fearing and stuff like that. So,
No, but then,
is what? Sorry, yeah, I think you were cooking. Again.
all right, no, I think we're right. Things are going green. I think we're. Oh, warning, yeah, we're really giving the old internet a stretch. But
Really are.
basically, yeah, the people that claim to be righteous and good, and they're doing it now. It's just this different suit. It's the same shitty people claim to be righteous
Yeah,
and good, and they're doing the most horrible things.
yeah. And it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed, and it's like this Epstein, and this is bringing out the worst. So you've got like the Clinton, like the Trumps who were on his sex island, and these are supposed to be people who you're looking up to rule us and to show us a guiding light, and that they're all on these like fucking paedophile islands doing
Yeah,
paedophile things, and you're like, you know, that's horror. That's real life horror, but it's sanitized. But they wanna edit the horror films, which are completely and utter fiction. But this is going on in real life, and it's allowed to happen. And
that's probably part of the reason.
it makes me angry, and we got into politics. I didn't want
Yeah,
to.
but you can't be. Today, politics has
Yeah,
permeated everything,
yeah,
including movies, including writing. It's a disease where
yeah,
people don't mind politics and politicians as long as everything's going right. But the problem things aren't going right now. We're struggling. But
yeah,
it's because of it's permeated everything,
yeah.
and everything it touches, it turns to shit. You know what I
It
mean?
turns to shit. Yeah, it really does, because there can't be a ruling class, because they can't rule the people who they don't know nothing about. You know,
There's a
like
difference between ruling.
Whitehall,
You need to be a leader.
yeah, Whitehall can't be making decisions for the likes of people who live up in the Highlands of Scotland, because they don't know how them people live,
But
and that's just the be all and end all of it. You know what
the
I mean?
word stop was your politician doesn't come from the area. You don't have your representative.
Yeah,
They're all the same people. They all come from the same area. They all come from Kensington. They all went to Eton. They're all the
yeah.
same sort of people.
They all shag pigs' heads.
Yeah, the fucking. You know what I mean? You may as well get the conveyor belt, and all the parties are all the same.
Yeah,
And the devolved governments aren't doing any better. In fact, they're doing worse
no, they're doing worse. Yeah.
because they're
And since we've got
lunatics.
Brexit, since Brexit's happened, we've got fucking nothing else. Do you know what I mean? There's like we're stuck with these people. They've got no, they don't answer to anyone.
It's just gone mad,
It's
and
a,
it's
yeah, it's a crazy,
but we'll never
situation.
change it. Do you know what I mean? Until people wake up themselves and say, right, I'm going to go for this random party and not care, and enough people get behind them, and they stop
Yeah,
feeding the lions like sheep, because the old left-right dichotomy's gone like for years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
The old parties are gone. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
that
all
was.
Blair. As you say, it's Tony Blair did it. He just Tony Blair was like was supposed to be Labour, but he's really Tory, and then he just brought the parties together, and now there's no difference. They're all exactly the same. They're lining their own pockets and just making us fucking poorer.
Yeah, and it's
I,
I'm a proponent. Get
yeah.
out there,
Well, I
create,
got,
do something, make an
yeah.
impact in the world.
Make your own little mark. Yeah. Make your own little mark. Influence people you can. That's why, I mean, I got banned off Facebook because I said that Boris Johnson needed it with a cricket bat. Do you know? So they barred me off Facebook. I mean, is anyone going to get close enough to Boris Johnson to hit him with a fucking cricket bat because I said,
No,
do you know, it's just
and if people are
fucking
that,
ridiculous, isn't it?
if people are that psychotic, that's the only
Madness.
suggestion they need.
Madness.
Then they shouldn't be in society anyway. They should be behind
You
locked
really,
doors.
you shouldn't have access to Facebook. No. Yeah.
But this is where the
People,
lines
these,
get blurred. This is
Facebook's the
where
worst because it's given the worst. It's given the worst of society a platform to speak. Yeah.
I would argue Twitter.
Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't have, I don't think we'd have the likes of Nigel Farage if it wasn't for the likes of Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah. None of them have ever read my books. Bastards.
Nah, well, like I said, they'll until here's the problem as well. Unless you're prepared to step up yourself and jump into the arena, what are you going to do? But then again, if you jump in the arena, do you want to play that game? I don't. I couldn't sit in the House of Commons and
Exactly.
calmly just blurt. I'd be across.
You
That's why
stuck then, aren't
the
you? You
benches
stuck,
were two
yeah.
sword lengths apart. Because I'd be the one jumping across. Because I couldn't. I'm not that narcissistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd be lamping somebody out. So that's why I couldn't get involved. And people sidelining you. You're trying to fix one problem. And the media sidelines you with a random conversation.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a thing. And nothing actually gets fixed or done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it's also, it's a certain type of person who wants that level of control. I couldn't be asked with that level of control. You know, when I retire, when I actually come to me time and I pat myself on the back and I retire from my job, I will actually be made up for the fact that I've never ever managed people in my life. I've managed systems, I've managed computers, I've managed projects, but I've never managed people. And I don't want to. I'm
not fun.
Not that way inclined. I don't want to do it. I'm not asked. But because the people who do want to do that, they're the ones you got to fucking look out for. They're the ego trips, aren't they?
Yeah, but the thing is, I found myself.
This is boss because we have hardly talked about horror and we've hardly talked about.
Well, this is a horror show. Life is horror. Let's be honest, and we've touched on it. But
life is a pile of shit. It's a horror show. Yeah.
No, and I've been in management, and it's shit.
Oh.
Because all of a sudden, your performance isn't based on what you do; it's based on what someone else does. And if they're crap, and you, as a like a supervisor, low level manager, because I haven't been like, I wouldn't fit in that world of middle executive stuff. I'm just not that sort of person, and they know it. But you have so little actual control of who you hire, what you do. You know what I mean? Because all that the important stuff's taken away from you. But you're held accountable for other people's actions. So if somebody comes in, they're a lazy bastard and don't want to do their job, that becomes your fault.
That becomes your fault, yeah.
They take away all your ability to go, get the fuck.
Yeah. I just never want to fucking do that. No, not for me. I just want to make me books, write me books. And, you know, if people want to read them, then I'm fucking made up with that. But don't ask me to manage people because I'll never do it.
Yeah, an issue is if you encroach into my world and it impacts on me personally and my ability to live.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Live and let live. Yeah, that's what I don't want to. I don't want to intervene. I don't want to intervene with what you do. I don't want you to intervene with what I do. But you know what? We can live together harmoniously.
Of course, and disagree.
So why not?
And you don't have to be lockstep, 100%. And that's what people are missing. You can agree on. I say you can agree on 30% of things, and that can form a friendship. Because that's the 30%. You know what I mean? Should it be a hobby, activity, pastime? That 30% is enough to make friends with someone and not go to war with them. Anything above that is a bonus.
And yeah. And it's always the ego. It's always the people with the ego that got something to prove, and you know they want to do what they want to do, and you will conform to their way. It's like fuck off. It's like I couldn't be asked. I haven't got that. Then go ahead and do it, but just don't fucking affect me.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sitting here going,
I
I wonder what
know
the
a few
bloke
people.
four doors down's doing, and is he doing the right stuff? Should I go and have a word to make sure he's doing, you know what I mean? Psychotic behaviour?
But this is why I like to self-publish. Yeah, this is why I like to self-publish because, yeah, I'm in charge of what I publish because I'm self-published.
I
Yeah,
can kind of see both sides of the coins, but the good thing now is we're getting independent publishers coming up who are
yeah,
actually embedded in horror. And I've been talking to some, I want to talk to some of those guys as well. And I've talked to people that have done both,
yeah,
independent and went through an independent publisher house. I've worked with an independent publisher who's brought me authors for the show, which is fantastic. So
yeah,
the landscape's changing. It's not the, like with the bookshops are basically gone now. Apart from like the mainstream ones, which none of our books will ever appear in. Let's be honest.
no, no.
We're never going to be in Sainsbury's or W.H. Smith, or we're never going to be in
We're
the
not Lee
airport.
Child, are we, and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, we're never going to be there. So get that out of your head for a start. That's just not horror. It's never been. The only person that's ever came close is Stephen King and maybe
Stephen
Dean
King.
Koontz.
Yeah,
But that's, that's a rarity in the whole
yeah.
genre. Horror doesn't
There's
get enough.
nobody else. There's absolutely nobody else. I mean, it's Clive Barker is not a household name,
No,
really. Yeah,
Clive
he is
Barker's
to
something you
someone in the horror
discover
community.
and fall in love
Yeah,
with. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's
But
what it is. But the world is changing. What I wanted people to understand through this podcast and what we do is there are options. Don't give up.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Don't give up. Don't
Well,
not start.
my biggest thing is don't give up on your dream.
Oh, I think we're
And it's been pissing me off because I've been promised this and I've been promised that, and the dream can diminish. One, if you keep going, then the dream's still alive. If you don't keep going, the dream's already dead. Did you get that?
yep. No, absolutely. Just keep going, and it doesn't. Don't measure success by others. As long as you're progressing step by step, and you're seeing yourself get somewhere
Yeah.
from where you were before, what more do you want out of life?
I was just yeah.
Yeah, just frozen up a second. Right. God, I think we're like proper
Yeah,
breaking down.
yeah, this competition, another author. Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah, right. I think
I've got four. Yeah,
I could talk. We could sit here and talk for hours. I can already see that, but I think for the purpose of this episode, I think Dave will. What we'll do is we'll because I think you're getting ready. You're wanting to join in with the Horrific Tales in one of our events. So what we can do is schedule
yeah.
another time as well, and we can always revisit. The same as other authors can always
Okay.
come back and new projects
Yeah,
that are happening. We'll talk about those and go off on random
yeah.
tangents again because I love. This is what makes a conversation. Just go off
But
on random
good.
stuff. Conversation,
Yeah,
not the stunted by the numbers, essay answers.
yeah.
It's not what it's about.
I love it though. I love it because you get to know the person. You get to know the person, and I'm quite an easygoing person. I don't care. Don't give two fucks really about
So,
anyone.
folks, if you
That
haven't been
sounds awful.
triggered and you haven't set fire to your laptop with us on it, you know what I mean? do check
We'll
us
all be
out.
outside my house now with pitchforks. Get him out. Get him out.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it. One day it's going to happen to me because I don't give a shit. I just talk what I talk.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
what I'll tell you is what you see with me is what you get, and like yourself, that's the important thing.
yeah.
I've no time for fake people.
No, no, no. Fake people piss me off, and they hide behind this scenario of being politically correct and being equal to everybody and stuff like that. But as long as you're equal to everybody who lives in their little square, then you're all right. But if you're outside of their little square, then they're not equal. Then you're not equal to them, and then they all of a sudden that you're a fucking cancelled person. So yeah, I couldn't be asked with all that.
Nah, well,
No,
thankfully I haven't encountered anybody yet.
no,
I've
neither
been
have I.
really lucky with
Neither have I.
this podcast. I've got a lot of genuine people, and it's been a pleasure as always to have real
Well,
conversations.
I've had a laugh tonight. I've had a laugh
So
tonight.
it's been good. And that's the thing. You're genuinely laughing and having a bit of crack. Then that's what it's all about.
Politics of Star Trek. I didn't think that was going to come up.
Here, it's where it went. But thankfully, we didn't get entrenched in the stupidity.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the worst thing. Right. I think we'll wrap it up there.
Okay.
Great chat. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I've put up Dave's links in the episode description, so check those out. Keep up with Dave and his work, as long as he doesn't get banned from everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep up to date with our other segments as well. And until next time, folks, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Take it easy.